Hello everybody and welcome back to the second video in my Anno 1800 series. If you guys haven't watched the first video, I strongly recommend you go watch it right now. The link will be in the description. The first video covers the first 25 hours of my Anno 1800 adventure, whereas this one will be the continuation up to 60 hours. With that out of the way, let's get into it. At the end of the first 25 hours, I was looking to transport more oil to Crown Falls from Manola, something I made happen during hour 26. The problem is that later on I realized that the New World could also use oil to have electricity, which meant that I had to reverse that and make sure that Manola could get the electricity they need. During hour 27, I spent time building a palace in Crown Falls. And remodeling the Docklands, while also optimizing my trade routes. I was trying to make sure that I had the best ship available on every trade route and slowly phasing out old ships. The problem is that by the end of the 60 hours, I decided to only use airships as much as I could, which meant that this was a slight waste of time. During the 28th hour, I spent time upgrading my city and Crown Falls as I had way too many farmers and I seriously needed to lower the amount of farmer goods that I need to transport from my feeder island, Wolsven. Hours 29 and 30 were spent upgrading and balancing the needs of Crown Falls, whilst hour 31 marked the end of construction for the World's Fair. During the past few hours, I was also slowly building warships to eradicate the remaining AI out of the game. Hour 32 was spent on more industry building in Wolsven and making sure that I balanced everything correctly for Crown Falls. Hours 33 and 34 were focused on completely remodeling Manola and playing around with haciendas. I remodeled Manola twice in the 35 hours I played, and this marks the start of this first remodel. The War of the AI also started during hour 34. I spent hours 35 through 41 slowly destroying the AI, which took way too long as I had to buy them out of their Arctic Plateau islands, since they are impossible to take over with ships. Hours 42 and 43 were spent working on Manola and trying to have enough resources to send to Crown Falls. This was until hour 44 rolled around, where I decided to remodel all of Manola for the second time, as I wasn't happy with the setup I had. Hours 45 through 47 were spent balancing the needs of both Manola and Crown Falls so that everyone was happy on both islands. During hour 48, I did a rudimentary production of elevators and upgraded my public mooring to a tourist mooring, even though throughout the remaining 10 or so hours I did almost nothing with tourists, apart from building a hotel and 2 bus stops. Hours 49 and 50 were spent rearranging Wolfsven to make it more efficient, and part of that new efficiency design was building a foreign department for my palace in Wolfsven. I also incorporated trade unions later on. Hours 51 through 53 were spent almost entirely focusing on Enbesa and building the research institute. A few of you guys left comments in the last video telling me to focus on Enbesa, so that's what I did, and I can see why you guys said so. The research institute seems to be really powerful, even though I'm yet to really utilize its full potential. During hours 54 and 55, I spent time working on Manola and balancing out the needs of the people on that island, as well as making efficient layouts, or at least what I think are efficient layouts. During hour 56, I started to focus a bit more on the Dockland and Wolzen and decided to import furs so that I would not have to have hunting cabins all over my island. I also switched the fertility to grapes so I could make champagne on the island without making a trade route for grapes. During hour 57, I upgraded a lot of houses in Cape Chaluni to the point where I had almost no more farmer houses. I also worked on making sure that my research institute was properly powered, and since I did not have enough oil, I decided to power it with gas, which was more of a headache than I had originally anticipated, but things worked out in the end. Hours 58 and 59 were spent on making efficient layouts with trade unions in Wolzen, and also creating a better production line for elevators so that I could use them as an export good in the Dockland, which worked pretty well. But for now, it is still early days, so not incredibly powerful yet, but definitely useful. The 60th hour was spent tinkering with the Docklands, a little more, and building a zoo as well as a botanical garden to house all of the specimens I had found so far. I also started an airmail route between Manola and Crown Falls. This video was supposed to stop at 50 hours, but I realized that around 6 to 7 hours were spent just in wars, and I hadn't done anything massively new, so I decided to expand it to 60 hours, and I think it was a good decision. It allowed me to really delve into Enbesa and the Research Institute, which I now understand is probably one of the most powerful things in the game. Being able to create any item seems incredibly powerful, and I think I will spend the next video creating items that are perfect for my trade unions, my town halls, and also creating items that complete sense in my museum, zoo, and botanical garden. Even after 60 hours, I feel like there's still so much to do and optimize. The only thing that I would have done differently is that I would have done it with no AI. The AI to me seems more like a hindrance than anything else, and the combat is not what I am playing this game for, and I think the devs knew this and actually made naval combat quite boring and straightforward. I played this game because I liked the logistical challenge of efficiency and problem solving, but not battling against AIs in naval battles. But on this note, let's look at what my main islands look like at the end of the 60 hours. I will only do the main islands this time, as I don't think the rest of the islands are interesting to look at least not now. Taborime, or Taborim, whichever way you pronounce it, is my main island in Enbesa, and it is definitely not perfect, but I built it up mainly to unlock the Research Institute, not to be a perfect island, at least for now, so it definitely needs a lot more work, and it will probably get a full rework at some point. Manola is my main island in the New World, and after 2 big reworks, I think I am finally getting it to a place that I like. I need to build more houses and focus a bit more on fulfilling my people's needs on this island, but I think I finally found a good direction for this island, so now I can focus on that instead of reworking the island every 10 hours. Wolfsven, which is the island that feeds Groundfall, still needs a lot of work, and creating items that are useful in trade unions is going to be a big part of the work that needs to be done on this island. I already am reworking it, but I still expect this island to change a lot in the near future, as I start including items in trade unions and using the Docklands more and more to get rid of useless industries. Crownfalls is my main island by far. I think the house upgrades will probably not move too much apart from creating skyscrapers, but this might take a while. The Research Institute still needs to expand, and my museum, zoo, and botanical garden will probably change quite a lot as I start focusing a bit more on tourists. But that is pretty much it for this video. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any tip or advice, leave a comment down below. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.